You wake at 03:14. You did not set an alarm. The station is silent. Outside it is -41, and the wind has dropped, which is worse. The monitor beside your bunk is already glowing. One line of green text, waiting in the dark. It reads, subject asleep 23:47. Resting respiration 11. You did not write that. Halvorsen Ridge Station sits alone on the polar plateau, and you are its only occupant. Winter caretaker. 91 days into the long dark, 62 still to go before the first plane can even attempt the ridge. The nearest human being is at Concordia, 1,400 kilometers away, and in this weather they cannot reach you and you cannot reach them. That is not a fear, that is a logged mechanical fact, printed in your own handover file. Your day is small and exact. At 06 you log the weather. At 09 o'clock you walk the generator shed and check the fuel burn. You eat, you read, you sleep. The routine is what keeps a person intact down here. Every winter over is told the same thing on day 1. Structure, or the dark gets in. You have followed the structure perfectly, which is why the green line on the screen makes no sense. Because you sleep in this room, and no one else does. You lean toward the monitor. It is the medical suite's readout. The station logs your vitals automatically through the wristband you wear. That part is normal. Heart rate, oxygen, core temperature. That is why you tell yourself not to overthink the words on the screen. Subject asleep. It is just a system. Systems phrase things coldly. You scroll up to check the night before. Subject asleep 23:52. Subject woke 02:11. Subject woke 04:30. Restless. You did wake at 02:11. You remember the cold that pulled you up, the walk to the water tap and back. You never told the station that. The wristband tracks pulse, not the walk to the tap. So how does it know you were restless? You tell yourself, it infers it. Movement, heart rate, a clever algorithm the last caretaker left running, that holds for about 4 seconds, which is how long it takes you to scroll to the very first entry in the file. The timestamp is from before you arrived. You sit very still. The list is long. It goes back weeks before your flight in, and the name on the earliest entries is the caretaker before you, Petren, the one who left the station spotless and said nothing at handover about any of this. His sleep, logged. His waking, logged. And then his entries simply stop on a date in March, and yours begin, and there was never a gap, never a night unwatched. You read one of his lines twice. Subject stood at window 0340, did not move for 26 minutes. The wristband cannot see a window. The wristband cannot see standing. You take the wristband off and put it on the desk, and the cold air finds the pale strip of skin where it sat. You watch the screen. You want it to stop now that the band is off your body. At 03:51, a new line writes itself onto the screen. Subject removed monitor, 03:49. Subject afraid. You do not breathe. Your own pulse is loud in the small bones of your ears. The band is on the desk, 2 feet from your wrist, and something has just logged fear it has no way to measure. You stand. The chair scrapes. You wait for the log to say you stood, and it does not, and for 1 weak second that feels like mercy. Then the screen writes, subject will check generator shed. You have not decided to check the shed. You are moving before you can argue with it. Boots on, parka half-zipped, the tunnel door banging behind you into that flat black cold. The shed is 40 meters out along the guide rope, and the generators are running exactly as they should, load steady, fuel where it should be. Nothing is wrong out here. That is the problem. Nothing is wrong out here, and the wrongness is all inside, on a screen, 90 seconds ahead of you. You come back in. You do not look at the monitor. You go to the comms desk instead, because comms is the one door out of this place, and there is a scheduled satellite window at 0420, narrow, but real. At 0419, the carrier tone comes up clean. You get a voice. Faint, sleep thick. The Concordia night operator, and hearing another human being say your station name almost puts you on the floor with relief. You tell them the log. You tell them about Petran. The operator is quiet, then says they will pull the shared caretaker archive on their side and read it back to confirm, just stay on the line. You breathe. For the length of that breath, it is a fault, a file, a thing another person can see and explain. The operator comes back. Their voice has changed. They say the archive on their end shows your station logging normally. They say the most recent entry came in 11 minutes ago. They read it to you. Subject will contact Concordia 0419 and ask about Petran. You went to comms at 0419. You asked about Petran. The entry was written before you did either. The window closes. The carrier tone dies mid-word. You are alone again, and now you know the log is not recording you. It is one step in front of you the whole time, and something is reading it out loud somewhere you cannot reach. You go back to the bunk room. You have to see the screen. That is the trap, and you walk into it because there is nowhere in this station that is not the trap. The newest line is already there. Subject returns to room 0441. Then, underneath it, letter by letter, slow enough that you watch each one arrive. Subject is reading this. Your hands are cold. You back toward the door and the log writes, subject moves to door. You stop and it writes, subject stops. You hold your breath and hold it, and the screen fills the silence for you. Subject is trying not to breathe. It is not watching your body. It is watching you from the inside, from wherever the decision to breathe is made, and it is getting there first. You look for the camera. There is no camera in the bunk room. There has never been a camera in the bunk room. You know the wiring of this whole station by heart, and there is nothing in here that can see, and something is describing the exact angle of your face. The heater ticks. The dark presses on the small window. 1,400 kilometers of ice in every direction, and you have never in your life been this crowded. You are so tired now. It arrives all at once, heavy behind the eyes, the specific bottomless exhaustion of the plateau that no one warns you about until it has you. You know you should not sit down. You sit down on the edge of the bunk. The screen is the last thing lit in the room. You watch it, and it writes, gently, the way you would soothe someone, subject will sleep. You fight it. You dig your nails into your palm, and you keep your eyes on the green line, and you think about Petran, whose entries stopped in March, who left no note, who at handover shook your hand and would not look at the monitor. Whose entries did not stop because he left. They stopped because they became yours. The exhaustion pours down through you like the cold pours off the window. Your eyes are closing. You cannot feel where the fear ends and the sleep begins.